Candy Analysis here with Gary Randazzo. Gary, it's been a crazy day here in Las Vegas. We've had the Fab 48, we've had the Adidas 64. You know, I don't need to tell you, we've been running and gunning. So, you know, we've been looking at all these players. I want to ask you, if you had to pick one player who you'd want to watch, you know, over and over, you know, the guy who's most exciting, who would it be?
It's a good question. There's a lot of talent out here this week, you guys. You know, Andre Drummond as a center is a really intriguing player. He's so explosive, but bar none this year with Shabazz Muhammad for Dream Vision. I mean, his outside shot is actually looking incredibly good, but his first step and his power moves to the hole, his dunks just sound different than anybody else out here.
Absolutely, you know, I gotta agree with you. You know, we were watching him, and he was kind of the marquee player in this thing. I mean, we got to the gym, you know, 10 in the morning, pretty early. Most of the teams haven't checked in. We get in there, and it's packed. Everyone was wanting to watch Shabazz. The players, you know, the teams all Shabazz is playing. And he didn't disappoint. You know, the guy's great. Incredible with the ball. He can shoot, he can drive, explosive. But, you know, we were talking, and we were analyzing Shabazz's game, and something that came up is he's so good with the ball that he kind of doesn't have the skills without the ball because he hasn't needed them.
You know, that's actually a good point because we saw a couple situations that on one occasion he's off the ball cutting down the lane, and if he had cut hard to the baseline, he's going to draw that entire defense with him, which is going to open up the dribble for the guy with the ball handler. Instead, he kind of eased his way through the lane, the defense stayed set, and then the point guard dribbled into the middle into a triple team and turn the ball over.
Absolutely.
So I think you're right on the money there.
Yeah, if he would have hustled, you know, that opens up that lane, and that's point guard's dream. Now, do you think that's a product of just being so good in the high school game that he doesn't need that yet? Or, you know, is that something that, you know, as a young kid, you don't think he's realized that how important
I think it's something where he's so good, like you said earlier, with the basketball. I mean, everyone can improve. And there's a reason why, you know, we learn, you know, you learn basketball in high school and college. In the NBA, you take your game to that next level. But there are some fundamentals, and I think you identified the one hole in Shabazz's game.
And there's not.
Because you put the ball in his hands, and he's going to score the basketball.
Absolutely.
He's either going to dunk right on you, or he's going to, you know, step back and hit like a 20-footer.
Mm-hmm.
But off the ball, you know, he needs to post up a little bit better. He needs to seal his guy in the block if he is going to post up. And, you know, a guy like that who's a scorer, if he's moving well off the ball, the defense is instinctively going to think that the play is for him. It's going to draw the defense over, and it's going to open up things for his teammates. Right. So I think you nailed it right on the head.
Now, last night, you know, we watched Jabari Bird, who had a real nice play on both sides of the ball. Now, tell me, you know, a little bit about his game and how it's developed on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, you know, Jabari Bird, he's a 2013 swingman, probably projects to a small forward. He's really grown in the past 12 months. I mean, he's always had a really feathery jump shot, but like you hinted on what we're talking about is he had a follow-up dunk, which he timed perfectly, just from the free throw line, read the miss, came in, dunked it, and kind of showboated a little bit. And you're thinking like, oh no, here we go. Next thing you know, the guy's down the floor on the same play, blocking a shot on the transition or, you know, return break, and you're like, wow, okay, you know, you may have showboated for a second, had the wherewithal to get down the court and actually play some defense.
In fact, let's take a look at that clip right now. That's great hustle, you know. Not only, you know, does he finish the dunk, the crowd's doing it on, he has enough sense to hustle down, make the play.
And like you saw too, I mean, the timing. I mean, there's athletes all over the place in Vegas right now, but when you combine athleticism with scoring ability and defensive timing, I mean, you've got a special player, and that's what Bird is.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, the Drew Gooden All-Stars have a loaded team. I mean, you know, their second team might be able to beat half of these guys' first team. And we've been watching them all weekend. Tell me a little bit about their players and you know, how some of them have definite interest in the U of A.
Sure, yeah, you know, everyone hears about Finley Prep in high school, but when it comes to the AAU circuit and Arizona recruiting, Drew Gooden Soldiers is where it's at. You know, last year Arizona signed Nick Johnson and Josiah Turner. This year's no different. There's a lot of talent on that roster, starting with Brandon Ashley, 2012. He's a power forward, probably will end up playing small forward by the time he gets to the NBA. Incredible talent. I mean, the inside scoop, everyone knows right now, Kentucky, John Calipari hasn't missed a game. He's all over Brandon Ashley, but our sources continue to tell us that he's going to be a West Coast player at the college level, and that puts Oregon and Arizona probably down with Kentucky for his final three. So,
and he's a dominating player.
He's fantastic.
Absolutely.
Long, finishes at the rim. We've seen him block a couple shots on the defensive end. Saw him get on the floor tonight, actually, about 2 or 3 times on loose balls, which everyone thinks these college coaches are getting fond over with these dunks and stuff and three-pointers. It's all about defense and guys who are hustling off the ball for these college coaches, and that was Ashley tonight.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, we all know U of A has a long history of great guard play. You've got Khalid Reeves, the Sotomayers, Steve Kerr, Mike Bibby. Well, they've got this new young kid coming in, 2013 class, Eric Cooper Jr. How do you think, this guy's going to come in? How do you think he'll stack up in a program that has been so guard-heavy in tradition?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, the struggle with Eric Cooper is, he hurt his knee last year, and it's just been a very long road to recovery for him. And a lot of that's his youth. I mean, he's only going to be a junior in high school this upcoming season. But today, this weekend, we have finally seen, I think we may have seen a healthy Eric Cooper Jr.
Absolutely.
I mean, tonight specifically against the Drew Gooden Soldiers, a team that full court presses and challenges you for 36 minutes. He was up and down the court, hitting jump shots, mixing it up on defense. Played with speed. He's looking really good. I mean, I myself have been concerned with where he projects in Arizona's 2013 class and whether he'll stay or not. According to his dad, Eric Cooper Sr., Eric's a solid commit. And I think today we saw the first signs of Arizona Wildcats getting a really good player in 2013.
Absolutely. I've seen him play quite a bit over the summer, and we'll go ahead and show some clips right now. And it's obvious to see when you watch these clips that this is a kid who's healthy, he's back, and he's playing confident. Let's go ahead and roll that and let the people see for themselves. Wow. So, I mean, no signs of an injury there. No sign.
I think the talk of him being injured and it's over.
Yeah. Well, one player I was really, really impressed with this weekend, and we've seen some great ones, was Grant Jarrett. All right. Tell me about this kid and how his game has evolved.
I think the biggest thing with Grant is, again, another knock on a fantastic player. I mean, the guy's top 8 in the country. He's beyond legit. Was his upper body strength. And, he told us about 3 months ago, before all the spring tournaments started, that he was going to focus entirely on just keeping his body healthy and actually hitting the weights in the gym. And again, this weekend, just like Cooper Jr., I think we saw a much stronger physical Grant Jarrett, rebounding, blocking shots, dunking on people, going up under the basket, still jumping out and hitting that 15-footer, but a much stronger Grant Jarrett. I think the work in the weight room is really paying off.
Have to agree with you. I mean, in fact, we were going from game to game, and we went and we're going to one game where we saw him playing, so we went up there, filmed a couple minutes, and within 2 to 5 minutes of filming, we had a bunch of solid dunks, and we're gonna show those now. I mean, when this guy dunks, he dunks with authority.
Yeah.
He brings it down.
He's got long arms. He can get over anybody.
Let's take a look. That's impressive stuff right there. Now, alongside Eric Cooper Jr. On the Belmont Shore backcourt is a guy whose name is almost as hard to pronounce as his game. It's Akena Aragbu. Okay, how do these guys compare?
Well, Ken is one of my favorite players. I've seen him for the past 3 months in a variety of formats, tournament play, competition, as well as camp settings. This kid plays hard. Every second he's on the court. Incredible hops for a point guard. Great outside shooting ability. Really plays hard on defense. Full court pressure. Talks a little bit of chatter from the point guard. Gets in the head of the defense. He's going to Oak Hill Academy. He's a West Coast player, but he definitely has been born and bred with an East Coast attitude.
Yeah, and in fact, that developing that shot has helped other parts of his game. We noticed today that defenders were coming out to defend the three-point shot, and in one example we're going to show right now, he proved that you can't just take away his three. That the guy's got other elements to his game. As soon as the guard stepped up to cover the three, he pulled this.
Shoot. Oh, nice.
Wow. See, that's a multi-dimensional player, and that's gonna.
Arizona, they're recruiting, scoring point guards, playmakers, and that video clip right there. You want to defend and take away the three, he's just going to blow right by you and make something special happen.
That's scary. That's scary right there. Well, we've seen lots of guys this weekend, plenty of players, lots of talent. In your mind, Gary, right now, as of today, who is the most NBA ready?
This takes us right back to Shabazz Muhammad.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of big, really talented 7-foot centers, which is kind of rare in high school these days when you get so many. You got Mitch McGarry, Andre Drummond, Caleb Tarzewski. Arizona's recruiting most of these guys. Drummond's at Connecticut, but Robert Upshaw, we saw him yesterday. Fantastic player, big body. I mean, he's got an NBA body ready to go. But when you try to put together the game and the mental attitude and the work ethic and playing hard, I know we talked about him kind of being a little lazy at times, but put the ball in his hands is a different story. Shabazz Muhammad has the talent. He has the game.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen someone throw the ball down like him since maybe LeBron James.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things. There's those guys who, most of these guys, they can all dunk, they can bring it down. When he dunks, it makes a particular noise. I mean, there's just a way that he dunks that he brings down with authority that other players just can't do.
To give you an example, I was at Pango's in June, and it's a 5-court stack setting. So you could be 3 courts down and hear this dunk, and someone's like, "What was that?" And you're just like, "Ah, it was Shabazz."
Shabazz, yeah, absolutely. Well, which player do you think of all these guys works the hardest on the court, Gary?
We were talking about this a lot earlier, and Shabazz's great work ethic, but Aaron Gordon from the Drew Gooden Soldiers goes to Midi High School up in Sacramento, 2013 prospect. The early word is Arizona, Washington, and New Mexico are his early favorites. I mean, you can speak to it. This guy has a motor that just does not quit. It's like
Absolutely.
a diesel engine or something.
Absolutely, and speaking of the last question, he's one of those guys that we could throw on there as a hard worker. I mean, the guy's got great upper body strength, and it because when he goes out there and he's playing, and they're in the middle, and all these great talents. This talent that we saw today is not watered down by any means.
Right.
I mean, these are the top guys, and yet he looks like a man among boys.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
he'll come in. There's no rebound the guy won't grab. I mean, I've seen games where Ashley's scoring 30 points and everyone's focusing on Ashley, and then you look at the book at the end of the game and Aaron Gordon's got 19 rebounds.
Mm-hmm.
The dunking ability speaks for itself. And we've even seen some improvement in his jump shot, which really surprised me coming into this tournament. But guy's the real deal, and that's my guy. Nobody works harder than Aaron Gordon.
Absolutely. I mean, that guy is, like I said, the only way you can put it, a man among boys. I mean, he is just brings down the authority. He doesn't take anything. He plays defense. He's in there fighting and grinding. In fact, we've got a couple clips of him doing what he does. It's impressive. It is impressive. Let's take a look. Gary, after watching that, I gotta tell you, he reminds me a lot of Blake Griffin. You know, the way he gets the ball and he'll be in traffic underneath the basket and boom, he just, he dunks it and takes it with authority.
Yeah, I think you're onto something. I mean, it sounds a little crazy on the surface, but if you think about Blake Griffin, even in the NBA, I mean, it's really about his dunking prowess and how he's muscling guys up at the body. And Aaron that is Aaron Gordon. He is just incredible talent when it comes to playing off his feet in the air anywhere near the rim.
Absolutely. If you were to give him 20 pounds to put a Clippers jersey, you could have fooled me.
Yeah, I'll tell you, you put 20 pounds on Aaron Gordon with this athleticism, and you got a seriously special player.
Might as well be Halloween. It's going to be scary.
Absolutely.
Going to be scary.
Absolutely.
Well, Gary, I bet people don't realize, how busy, how crazy it's been. We've been zipping all over Vegas, and for those who think that's an analogy, it really isn't. We had a great opportunity. They let us in on these zip lines across the old strip. And I can only speak for myself. Very intense, a little scary in that as well. And let's take a look exactly what happened there. I screamed so loud that the audio actually didn't pick it up there, but lots of fun, had a great weekend, and saw some great talent, and overall I say thumbs up on everything so far. Now we are going to be covering through the weekend, and we'll bring you any updates from the Wildcat Sports Report of anything that occurs, or any diamonds in the rough that come out. Gary, you're great at spotting those, and we'll be bringing you updates all weekend long.